Hi, everyone. We're here tonight for self-care cocktails with Isolation Cocktails featuring Matt and Rosie. We're super excited to have you here again. We do this every third Thursday of the month. And Matt, I'm just going to pass it over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Linda. And hi to everyone out there in the YouTube world, and hi to everybody at the right of me on the screen, Jenny, Renee, Mark. Nice to see you all again. So for those who don't know me, I'm Matt Coupe. I'm going to be a mixology teacher for the next 45 to an hour. As Linda said, Single Life Today has been helping me with some prompts, has been helping me with the feedback from the people who are coming to class. And, there were some things that kind of stood out. And one of the themes that stood out was spa, health, wellness, mental health. And look, I drink when I'm happy. I drink when I'm sad. It's a celebration. It's for morning things. I know the first thing I did when the pandemic hit was I had a drink. And when I recently booked a gig, I know that I had a drink. So it goes both ways. Wellness is important, and I think cocktails can reflect that. So I've come up with 3 fantastic recipes that I'm really excited to teach all of you tonight. And of course, I'm not here alone. You might not see her, but you'll definitely hear her. She's got the voice of an angel and a face of an angel. Her name is Rosie Callahan. There are her fingers right there on the screen. If you ever need any help, always feel free to either throw up that microphone, let us know. But if you are I feel a little shy, feel free to throw it down in the chat, which is at the bottom of the screen. If you're on a desktop or an iPad, that's where it'll be. And if you're on an iPhone, I don't know how to help you. If you're on a mobile device, Zoom is weird. But anyways, folks, I use the chat quite a bit here. I'm going to throw the recipes in the chat as we go. I feel like I'm ready to have a drink. I'm ready to have a good time. There's one syrup that we do need tonight, and it's a simple syrup. So if you haven't made your simple syrup, I'm going to make mine really quickly while I give you a prompt. So you can answer it down in the chat, just because I want to hear from you. Okay, so A Single Life Today is going back on trips. We're getting back into traveling. There's people going places, which is really exciting. People getting vaccinated. Everything's doing it nice and safe. Where are we looking forward to going once the pandemic's done? I want to know it, whether it be something that Single Life Today is offering and you've already booked it. Like, I want to hear about it while I make my simple syrup, which I'm just going to pop a little bit of sugar. And I will ask Rosie to grab me a mug if you could do that for me, love. Thank you. Ooh, okay. Mark's coming hard with Alaska. I am excited about Alaska. Now, there's a trip that I don't think I would ever make unless I went with a group. And so that's really exciting. Alaska is very cool. Rosie her father lives not in Alaska, but he lives in northern Quebec, right? Northern, like up there. You're like past the tree line?
On the tree line.
On the tree line, which is barely north. So, it's no Alaska, don't get me wrong. But
I hear Alaska is absolutely beautiful in the spring and summertime.
I can only imagine. And for those who are saying Croatia, fun fact, it's one of the 3 European places I've been. I happened to do a show out there in Croatia. It was called Les Moutons, which is French for the sheep. And I played a sheep to the best of my abilities in the town square of Zagreb, where I pretended to be a sheep, the most accurate sheep I could be in a show about nothing for 30 minutes. It was a heck of an experience, and I also got to go to Japan with that show, which was a crazy experience. But all the answers down in the chat are great. So I'm excited for those of you who are getting to do some traveling. Us as Canadians are waiting for those shots, waiting for our okay. But now that I've got my simple syrup made, let's get right into the drinks, shall we? I'll go ahead and grab our first drink and throw it down in the chat. And we'll get this party started, this wellness party. When I thought wellness, I'm thinking spa, I'm thinking cucumbers, I'm thinking mint. We're gonna start with a gin drink, we're gonna get it out of the way. Not that gin's bad, but I know that we do quite a few gin drinks. That's just because gin is a very malleable and flexible alcohol when it comes to cocktailing. But this first cocktail of the evening, folks, is called the East Side. So the East Side cocktail is a variation or a riff on another famous cocktail known as the South Side. So the South Side, the history behind that cocktail is that around the 1950s, there was this really famous American gangster named Al Capone, and he was famous in Chicago for, doing his thing, being a drug arms dealer, bad guy. He was you don't want to mess with Mr. Capone, but whenever you had a meeting with him, he would always offer you, at least the story goes, the South Side cocktail, because he operated on the South Side of Chicago. Now that left the rest of the areas of Chicago kind of miffed because they wanted their own cocktail. So apparently on the east side of Chicago, this cocktail was invented as a riff, as a variation to the South Side cocktail. And whereas the South Side uses lemon juice, gin, mint, this kind of goes in a different direction, and it uses a little bit, it uses some lime instead of lemon, and it uses cucumber as this refreshing, gorgeous taste. And if this doesn't taste like a spa cocktail, a wellness cocktail, I don't know what does. So let's get right into it, folks. For this cocktail, I'm going to be using this fun little piece of glassware. It is known as a Nick and Nora glass. I'll show it off right here. It's a small little glass. I think it looks really pretty. You don't need to use, obviously, something like this. You can use a mug, anything you wish. I just think something kind of small and I don't want to say dainty, but like something that kind of gives me a precious vibe. That's what I'm going with tonight. And of course, when you are doing any kind of cocktails, folks, make sure to chill down your glassware. So either throw it in the fridge, throw a little ice in it, throw a little water, which is what I'm going to do. So that you get a nice cold cocktail glass by the time you're serving that thing up. Alrighty. And I just want to throw this in. I'm going to go to gallery view so I can, there we go. I see we got some people there. Alrighty. So let's get into this. Go ahead and grab your cocktail shakers, folks. And that's step one. And now before we put ice in it, we need to do some muddling. I did say cucumber was a part of this. So go ahead and grab your cucumber. And we're going to do, it's up to you. Depends on how much cucumber you like in your cocktail. I say roughly 2 to 4 slices of cucumber. It's totally up to you. Cucumber gives its taste super easily. Once we muddle this cucumber, it will be infused in this cocktail so well, you'll pretty much feel like you're eating a cucumber. So I hope you like cucumber. Yeah, so for this, I'm going to say about 2 to 4. I'm going to go the whole 4. And when I say slices, I'm talking like ½ an inch, real thin slices. Nothing too drastic here, just because we don't want, we don't want to use all the cucumber. And theoretically, I'm making this cocktail for a party. We're having a girls' spa day. We're having it doesn't have to be girls. I like the spa. We can just have a spa day. Everyone's welcome. And but this way, I'm not killing a whole cucumber for only a couple of drinks. So I'm going to put 2 or 3 in. And of course, as you muddle that, as you go ahead and crush it, we want to add the sugar element as well. So you want to grab your simple syrup, that white syrup we made at the top of class if you hadn't already. And this calls for a 2 to 1 simple syrup. Everyone mostly has a 1 to 1 at home. So you can do either ½ an ounce to a full ounce of simple syrup, depending on your level of sweetness. Do you like something that's a little sweeter? Go ahead and do 1 full ounce of simple syrup. If you like something that isn't too sweet, go ahead and do ½ the ounce. But so far, I'm gonna call it right in the middle. I'm gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of just 1 to 1 simple syrup. So I'm going a little heavier on the syrup than what's recommended, but not the full 1 ounce. And to those cucumbers and that syrup, once you get that syrup and cucumber in, why don't you grab some mint so that we can muddle that in there as well. That'll be the last thing we muddle, just because we don't necessarily need to muddle the mint, but it just kind of helps kind of give its flavor away. And in terms of how many mint leaves, I'm going to do about 5 or 6. It's totally up to you, though. Mine is starting to die down here. I'm going to try and get some of these, try and get some use out of this mint before it completely dies. Yeah, that should be good. And I'm going to go ahead and it's just a rule of thumb. You can go ahead and give that mint a little slap on the wrist. I know we're about to muddle it, so slapping it really doesn't do much because we're about to go at it and get those kind of essential oils out. But it's just kind of those things that you remember as a bartender. It's always the rule of thumb. You always want to go ahead and do that so that next time when you're not muddling, it's almost like sense memory. You always do it. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my muddler at the end of the bar here. And finally, I'm going to get some muddling. I'm going to push down and I'm going to twist my wrist. So this way, we get that cucumber crushed, we get the mint muddling, and we're getting a little bit of stirring action going. This way, we're not crushing the same piece of cucumber, we're not crushing the same piece of mint. And I'm kind of moving it around. And like, depending on what you're using as a muddler at home, I'm using an actual muddler, but if you're using a fork, a spoon, the back of a hammer, potato masher, whatever you got, just make sure that we're really giving this a good go, a good crushing. You know, we want to get that cucumber nice and muddled in with our simple syrup. And of course, while you're at home, enjoy the vinaigrette. Oh, you could pour this on a salad right now. Taste the bottom of your muddler. I'm telling you, it is delish. It is so good. Oh, it's gonna be a good cocktail. It's a good start to that cocktail. All right, once you get that all muddled in, go ahead and throw some ice into that cocktail shaker. We're gonna start adding some ingredients. Oh, ice. Hey, what's up?
Hey, ice.
I found it. Ooh. Hey, there we go. And for ice, folks, it's really up to you. 2, 3 cubes at most. You don't need to go any harder than that. Some people like to fill theirs up right to the top, and like you can definitely do that. I think it's slightly wasteful, but it's totally up to you. Alrighty, let's get going here. We're starting with the gin. Show off what you got at home. I'm always curious if we're switching it up. If we're, ooh, rail cart, Seagrams. I like those. That rail cart looks really cool, Mark. That looks like local, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, that makes sense. All right, 2 ounces of gin here, folks, per cocktail. 2 ounces of gin. 2 ounces being very much the magic number of cocktailing. There you have it. And I'm using I'm almost done it, but I'm using this beautiful yellow gin called Ungava, which has got a gorgeous, gorgeous color to it. Dude, it's a Canadian gin up actually kind of where Rosie's father's from, up near the tree line, and uses a very specific amount of botanicals to get that kind of natural yellow coloring. Alrighty, folks, next up, once you got that gin involved, is our lime juice. Now, if you're squeezing a lime, you're gonna wanna squeeze about half a lime here, or 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. People always ask me why I'm not squeezing limes, because I mean, fresh is always going to be better. Not saying that this stuff is bad. I love it. I use it every day. Just my hands aren't what they used to be, and the summer and the winter have done a number to them. Got some nice cracks. I actually had somebody ask me, hey, Matt, do you want to be in this cocktail Instagram video? We just need a picture of your hands. And I sent them the picture of my hands, and immediately the offer was revoked. So that was real great for my my self-esteem. And we are not going to be putting in that soda, folks. There's soda water in this cocktail. Don't put that in quite yet, just because when you shake it, it's like shaking a bottle of soda. You know, it's bad news bears for everyone. But go ahead and close up your cocktail shaker tin when you're ready with that ice, gin, lime juice, simple syrup, cucumbers, and mint. Let's get to shaking, folks. And you'll see right here, my cocktail shakers get nice and misty, which is good. A little bit of condensation on the can, a little too cold to the touch, means the inside of my drink, or rather the inside of my shaker tins, is good to go. There we have it. I'm gonna get rid of that water that was sitting in my Knickerbocker glass, or you can grab yours from the fridge or take out the ice. Now for this, if you have a fine mesh strainer, you're gonna wanna grab it, just because we've got mint and the cucumber. So if you got one of these, I'll show it off right here. Bam, bam, yeah, perfect. If you don't, no big deal, a little cucumber, a little mint, not gonna kill anybody. You can go ahead and double strain this into a naked glass, or you could do this on the rocks. It's totally up to you. If you like a little ice in your glass, throw a little ice in there. But since my glass is so small, I have to do it without ice. But all right, here we go. And I'm gonna double strain this and get as much of this cocktail out. It's gonna come out a gorgeous, gorgeous mellow yellow color. And this is just gonna taste, like you're gonna taste this and it's gonna transport you into that kind of like the towel on your head and the cucumbers on your eyes. And it's gonna just feel so good. Oh no, but that's okay, because I had this strain. It all worked out. Alrighty, fantastic. There we have it. And for a garnish, folks, totally up to you. You can do a little bit of cucumber, a little bit of mint. I'm gonna go the cucumber route because I really like cucumber, like I was saying. So I'm gonna get myself a little disc or a little wheel of cucumber and chop it halfway up the center so that it can sit beautifully on my cocktail glass. And when you're ready, folks, open up those. Yes.
Some soda.
Oh my gosh, soda! Soda! We talked about it. Mark calling me out, making sure it happens. I'm actually going to do this really quickly. I need to make some room. That's still delicious, but soda's gonna make it better. Thank you so much. So you wanna make sure you have a little bit of room for your soda water. I totally just wanted to get to the drink. I totally just wanted to drink. So that's why we're missing a step. But thank you, Mark, for calling that out. So just top this off with roughly about 3 ounces of soda water, or like for me, I'm just gonna fill this to the top of the brim here. And this is gonna elevate this cocktail to the next level. I love that I got to taste it pre, and now I'm gonna taste it after the soda water. It's gonna be almost like a completely different cocktail. Yeah, that soda water is going to help lift this all up and give it that kind of sparkly kind of, again, spa was the word that I feel when I look at this. But folks, when you're ready, feel free to open up those microphones and we will, oh, look at those glasses. You guys are killing the game. Looks great. All right. Cheers, folks.
Cheers.
Nice.
Right? This has got that cucumber kind of nice kind of freshness. It's got that mint that kind of comes through a little bit. It's gorgeous on the palate. It's not too sweet. It's not too sour. Kind of sits right there in the middle. A balanced cocktail is what we would call this. But let me know what you think, Mark, Renee.
I like it.
Hey.
It's nice and refreshing.
Yeah, if you were having this out on a summer day, for sure. Hands down. And of course, I saw Mark doing it. But always take photos of what you're doing. If you like the way your cocktail looks and you're trying to show your friends that you're doing something fun with Single Life today, with isolation cocktails, make sure, of course, post them online, tag us. I look out for them constantly because it's always exciting to me to kind of see inside your kitchens. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, make sure to take a photo, send it to a friend, tell them, hey, why don't you come have a cocktail party with me next the third Thursday of next month? It's gonna be a good time. No, I'm plugging. I'm always plugging. I'm always pushing. Okay, folks, that's our first cocktail down. Congratulations, great work. Enjoy that cocktail. Wash out your shaker tin while you enjoy the cocktail. While I muse you about the next cocktail, and I'm gonna take another sip. And of course, how rude of me, Rosie. Would you like to sip one of your favorite cocktails? There it is, and Rosie can let us know what her thoughts are.
That is a hefty piece of cucumber.
It's a good
I
piece of cucumber on there.
Snack.
It's a good, yeah, it's a full snack on there.
Oh, just as good as I remembered.
Right?
Oh, I love this one.
It's so good, and it looks beautiful in the Nicanor. Rosie bought us a pair of Nicanors that I broke. I would say I broke half the pair 3 days into owning it. So this is our solo little Nicanor. I always encourage, if you're going out traveling, folks, and you're heading to new destinations, one of my favorite things to do, I don't know how much free time you get when you're going in a group and you're doing like a Single Life Today tour. But if you have the chance, hop into little thrift stores, little variety stores, and you can find the most gorgeous pieces of glassware. Rosie and I had 1 week where Toronto wasn't in lockdown, and we went out thrifting to try and find a second glass to match our Nick and Nora. We didn't succeed, but we found some fantastic antique pieces that people, just eventually get rid of. They are left in somebody's attic after passing, whatever. But there are some gorgeous pieces of glassware out there that deserve a home. So, thrifting, I'm a thrifty boy. I have the same wardrobe since 2007. So, I'm good to go. All righty, folks. Enough about my terrible wardrobe. Let's get into our next cocktail here. And this is a cocktail, folks, that I have tried possibly once before in my life. It's a variation on a cocktail. I've tried this when I went to a tiki bar not too long ago. Probably now close to 2 years ago here in Toronto. But here it is. It's something I've always wanted to recreate. The fact that I get to recreate it with all of you is just really fun. So this cocktail, folks, is known as Cox's Daiquiri. So the original Daiquiri, theoretically, because I don't really believe the tale, was apparently created by a naval officer named Jennings Cox out of the U.S. Now, he was in Cuba I believe it was Cuba, but he was at war during the American-Spanish War, and he was out there. And apparently when he came back, he showed off this cocktail that he had created while he was out on deployment. And he showed it to his naval officer friends and called it the Daiquiri. My actual guess of what happened is that Jennings Cox went out to war, had this cocktail served to him at some point, and said, I'm going to bring it back, and I'm going to tell them I made it. It just doesn't make sense. The daiquiri, no offense to my American friends, I just cannot believe that the daiquiri was created by an American. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I wouldn't believe it. I would believe it if it was a Canadian. But you know, just things like the margarita, the daiquiri, those things feel like they were a staple before they were invented. They were, you know, part of the culture. But this beautiful cocktail that we're about to make is a riff on Cox's original invention. The daiquiri we know today is the OG. It is much simpler than this. But what's fun about simple cocktails is you can always riff and kind of play with them. And this is actually kind of close to Jennings Cox's original description. Now, he never used to say what was in the cocktail. Eventually, we got it out of him. He wrote it down in a recipe book, and the rest is history. But when he describes it being slightly bitter, slightly vanilla, and people took these little essences and threw them into what we call now the Cox's daiquiri. So let's give it a try, and you know, I by looking at the ingredients, I know it's going to taste good. So let's get into it. So for this cocktail, folks, I'm going to do a coupe glass. We're going to rock this in a coupe. You can do it in whatever kind of cocktail you'd like, glass you'd like to. I think it would look really nice. Daiquiris make me feel this piece of glassware. I don't know why. It's just kind of like the way I get it. So whenever I order a daiquiri, it comes in some ridiculously like kind of big kind of thing. Maybe I'm thinking of margaritas with a bottle in it, maybe. Those, by the way, all-time favorite. Matt and Rosie special. Give me a margarita bowl with a Corona in it any day of the week. Alrighty, so I'm going to put a little piece of ice in my cocktail glass. I'm going to set that aside. No muddling in this one, folks. Pretty much a straightforward cocktail. We're going to be throwing the ingredients in our cocktail shaker over some ice. Just be careful when we get to the vanilla. We'll talk about it, but don't rush too far ahead into the vanilla because the vanilla can really toss this cocktail for a loop if we're not careful. So first things first, I'm throwing some ice into our cocktail shaker. And I'm going to try and get this ice out without making a mess. It's always a fun game. Oh, made a weird sound. Number one of the night, weird sound. There it is. All right, so I've got my ice in, folks. We're moving over to rum land. I love me some rum. I know that you folks like rum, and I will be kind of spotlighting it more and more. And I'm always going to use something different. Ooh, is that plantation rum? I love it. Very good. I'm using a wonderful Canadian product known as Screech, which looks like this. It's known as Newfoundland's best worst kept secret. It is heavily featured in the Broadway musical Come From Away. And it's apparently just bad Jamaican rum that someone came over with in Newfoundland. And the first time the person had this bottle, they let out an ungodly screech. And that's why this bottle is known as Screech. I kind of like it. Rosie likes it more than I do, right?
I love it. I think it tastes great.
It tastes okay. But we're going to make it taste better by throwing it in this cocktail. So we're going to do 2 ounces, folks. 2 ounces of whatever choice of rum, either a white or a kind of a darker, kind of maybe a gold. You can go as far as Jamaican like me. If you'd like something with a little bit of a spicy kick to it, definitely go with your favorite, though. Whatever your favorite rum might be. Alrighty. Right next to it, of course, in a daiquiri, we're going to be using lime juice. It's a staple to the daiquiri. I'm assuming we've all had daiquiris here before. I don't know if it's a big, yeah. Jenny's like, yep. No, New Orleans may not have been the daiquiri. The Hurricane is, I'm telling you right now, the Hurricane is definitely on my top list of like, if I'm going out to have a good time and there's a Hurricane on the menu, you know I'm getting the Hurricane. So a good bang for your buck cocktail. All right, folks, we're doing half an ounce of lime juice here. Half an ounce, which means you'll be doing either half a lime squeezed or half an ounce of lime juice, just like that. Next up, folks, is your pineapple juice. I'm going to go ahead and shake my brand new carton of pineapple juice. And we're going to do 3/4 of an ounce. 3/4 of an ounce of pineapple, just like that. 3/4 of an ounce of pineapple. Now we are at the vanilla step. So we've got some vanilla extract. I got a big old bottle. Now let me tell you this, vanilla in cocktails can take, it's just like cooking. You throw a little bit too much vanilla extract in something, all you taste is vanilla and the rest of the flavors don't exist. You want to go with 1 to 3 drops of vanilla nothing more. The most I would put in is a bar spoon, which is roughly 3-ish. If you don't have a dropper, you can throw it into a bar spoon, and as long as you go roughly a little, I mean, somewhere between, that's 3. Yeah, so I've got about half a bar spoon of vanilla here. Nothing too much. Yeah, let me see that. Yeah, so like I would say half of that, you're good to go. I know, I wish I could show you here. My other camera's busted for the night, but I'm telling you, a bar spoon is half of a teaspoon. It is 15 milliliters. So, or not 15 milliliters, excuse me, it's closer to 5. But I'm using not even a full bar spoon. And I'm gonna pop that in. It's just a couple of dashes, if you will, a couple of drops, nothing too intense. Now, no matter what, I'd rather you play it safe with the vanilla and go, oh, I can't really taste it. The next time I do it, I'll throw in a couple more drops. I'd rather that than the alternative and you completely overpowering the cocktail. That being said, now that I've scared you about vanilla for about 5 minutes, go ahead and grab your Angostura bitters, and you can go ahead and throw in a dash or 2 of that as well. This is going to help with kind of balancing this cocktail, giving it a little bit of complexity as well. Going to add a kind of a finish to the back of the mouth. Once we have it, well, once you're done, folks, that's all you need. Go ahead and throw that all into a cocktail shaker. And we're doing our rum, our lime juice, pineapple, vanilla, and bitters. And I can't wait to try it, folks. I'm trying it with you for the first time. Let's get it. All righty, nice.
Matt, can I ask, what do bitters do?
Yeah, bitters. Bitters are a lot of fun. So bitters add what we call complexity. But what it is in the mouth, there are kind of 3 zones of taste. You have the tip of the tongue, the center of the palate, and the root of the tongue. That's kind of where all the tastes kind of come from. The bitters hit you in the back at the very end. So if you were to add orange bitters to something that doesn't have any orange juice in it, you would taste it and not really notice it. And then as it sits with you, a citrus orange flavor will come over your tongue, starting from the back of the throat. So it adds a complexity, it adds a layer to cocktails. And they're throwing in a lot of times when people are like, oh, well, I don't know how to make this special. I don't know how to elevate this. Bitters are kind of a fix-all in that respect. But it's a great question.
Thank you.
No problem. Alrighty, folks, I'm going to get rid of my ice in my coupe glass. You can decide if you want to do ice or not with this. Again, a daiquiri can have ice. It cannot have ice. That's totally up to you. I'm going to go sans ice, no ice here, straight up, just because I want to see the color. And I might, you know what? I might add a little bit of ice here. You should be getting a little bit of foam here, just because pineapple juice, when shaken, does cause foam. You might not get a lot. I was talking a little bit, so I didn't pour it out right away. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and throw in a big ice cube. Oh, a circle ice cube. Rosie's coming through with the circle suggestion. We got some circle molds here. That's a great suggestion, Rosie. All righty. I'm going to go ahead and pry this out. We're going to sit that. Ooh, very pretty right there. A big old piece. And in terms of a garnish here, folks, I would go with either a lime. I would go with a pineapple slice if I had one in the building. But I think something kind of like a lime, a lemon. But because I have it right here in front of me, I'm going to throw another little piece of mint in my life just because I have it ready to go. But at the end of the day, I do think this cocktail would go great with a piece of pineapple. That would be my closest. We don't have pineapple in there, do we?
I got them on sale.
You got them on sale? Oh, well, Rosie. Now I gotta get the pineapple. Now you still got pineapple. That's so exciting. Oh yeah, in this little setup. Oh yeah, we got this on sale. We should use it before it goes bad, because if it was on sale, yikes. All right, hey, we got a little pineapple slice. Thanks, Rosie. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem.
I'm gonna put it ahead. Put a little slice in that. Ooh, oh. Rosie coming to the rescue, folks. Telling you she exists and she's more than an AI. All right, folks, feel free to throw on those microphones and we'll give this Cox's Daiquiri a try. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, okay, a little on the strong side, a little on. I mean, to be fair, a daiquiri isn't always, it's a 3-ingredient cocktail normally. The pineapple juice I have, little on the tartar side, is not as sweet as I thought it would be. But that being said, I'm getting at the back of my throat, I'm getting a little bit of that vanilla, I'm getting a little bit of that kind of bitterness. This is, funny enough, more of a bittersweet cocktail than what the daiquiri would be. I would probably want to throw in, because the sugar component here is our pineapple juice. We don't have a simple syrup, which is part of a normal daiquiri. So this is a little bit more of a harsher version, but that's definitely like, if you're like, oh, I'm not into sweet cocktails, if you present this to someone, they're going, oh, there's a pineapple slice on that. That's kind of weird. This is really interesting. What do you guys think?
Like
I
you said,
agree.
it's pretty small.
It's not sweet by any stretch,
Right?
but it's good.
Right. Rosie, would you like to give this a try? I think you should. I think that'd be really good.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah?
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
a full flavored cocktail. I love
Full flavored cocktail. Yeah, I think if I would try this again, I would either try and change up a little bit of the, maybe to slightly pull back on the lime. I think that's what's kind of maybe causing this to be a little bit more bitter. Not so, it's not harsh though, which is really fun. But no, as somebody who, I'm a big sugar boy. I love me a sugary cocktail. Like, let me tell you, if I'm going out to party, the sugar helps me kind of rally. It kind of gets me to the 3, 4, 5 a.m. mark. This would wake me up in a different way, which is not necessarily bad. Alrighty. And of course, folks, make sure to take photos of what you're doing tonight. Make sure that you're sharing out that stuff. But that is 2 cocktails down. We got another cocktail coming to you. Of course, wash out those shaker tins. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to quickly rinse out my shaker tins. Get this going here. Alrighty. And you will be needing that muddler back, folks. So make sure to give that muddler a rinse. And if you have it, the fine mesh strainer as well, because we will be doing a touch of muddling in this last cocktail. And weirdly enough, this Cox's Daiquiri is like calling me back to sip on it. Like, I let it sit and I was like, I kind of want, it's weird. I kind of want another sip. Oh yeah. It's one of those things where it's got that just that right amount of bittersweetness that it's like, okay, we can sit. It's like dark chocolate. I can eat milk chocolate for days. I cannot stop. But as soon as I have dark chocolate, a couple pieces of that dark chocolate, and I'm good to go. I'll let it sit and I'll come back to it later. Alrighty, folks. Let's get this last cocktail of the night. I will be grabbing this right here. We're going to be sticking with our rum. So whatever rum of choice you have, this one, folks, is definitely a little bit more on the sweeter side. So hence it being part of my get well feelings. And of course, sticking with the theme of, wellness. In terms of like the daiquiri we just did, daiquiri in my mind is like hey, I'm going out to the beach. That's wellness in itself. If I can get to the water, oh, that's great. And this one for me hits slightly personally because this cocktail was created for Broadway. And for those of you who don't know, I am an actor. That is the thing I did prior to bartending, or rather in tandem with bartending, Rosie being an actress as well. And so we're missing the theater, and this cocktail brings me right back. So let me tell you the story about our last cocktail here, folks. It is known as the Knickerbocker. So the Knickerbocker cocktail. This cocktail, folks, was created in 1899. 1899, the Knickerbocker was created, and it was created for a Broadway show. It was created for a Broadway show in the West End, actually, first, and later on Broadway. And then eventually, there was a bartender that said, hey, it was a cast kind of gathering, I should say, a group gathering, and a cast party. That's what I'm trying to say. And one of the chorus girls said, hey, can you make a cocktail for us for this kind of special occasion? It's opening night. Can you make us a drink? And bingo bongo, the Knickerbocker. Oh, the wording is tough tonight, is born. So let me go ahead and I grab that recipe right there. Fantastic. Alrighty, folks, let's get into this one. We're going to need our fantastic shakers, and I'm going to be using a rocks glass for this one tonight, folks. Feel free to grab whatever glassware you want. I'm going to throw a little bit of ice in here. There we go. And I'm just going to using my scrap ice from my mold here. That should be enough. We'll set that off to the side. Perfect. Alrighty. So with muddling, folks, we want to start with the muddling and the sugar element. So go ahead and grab your raspberries. This is a raspberry cocktail. Now, if you don't have raspberries and you'd rather do something like blackberries, or if you'd rather do Chambord or cassis liqueur that is berry related, totally up to you. But in terms of berries, I'm going to do 5 to 6 berries. Totally up to you on how many you want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and throw about 6 and 7. 7 raspberries is what we're rocking here tonight. There it is. 7 fantastic raspberries, folks. And after that, once you get your raspberries in, you're going to need that simple syrup once again, because we're going to make a crude version of a raspberry syrup. If you wanted to make a proper raspberry syrup or a raspberry simple syrup, you would do exactly what we did over the stovetop, where you do half sugar, half water, and you would drop in a pack of raspberries and let that simmer for about an hour. You would let those raspberries turn colorless and have it seep into that sugar liquid. And then you would strain it and bottle it. You'd have a beautiful raspberry syrup. But instead, we're going to make it in the can right here in our shaker tin and do like a crude version. It'll work out. So we're going to be doing about half an ounce of simple syrup and add that to our raspberries. Half an ounce of simple syrup to our raspberries. And when you're ready, where did Matt put his muddler? Hey, there she is. And then you can grab your muddler. You can go ahead and crush up those raspberries. And once you crush up those raspberries, same kind of technique. It should be pretty simple. You're just pushing down and you're twisting. Nothing too hard about that. We want those raspberries to kind of explode. We want to get that pulp all out. And yeah, do a little twisting, get a little squishing. And then, of course, this should hopefully just taste, yeah, like raspberries and sugar. It's going to be a good time. You know, nothing wrong there. And, of course, if it doesn't taste like raspberries and sugar, I don't know how to help you. You need to figure that out. Alrighty. You can go ahead and fill up that fantastic shaker tin with some ice here, folks. We'll get this Knickerbocker ready to go. Ooh, I'm excited. I haven't had a Knickerbocker in a hot second. It's been a moment. I'm very excited about it. It's definitely up there in terms of favorites. I'm thinking I might want to switch out the Screech. You want to grab your rum, folks, and do 2 ounces. I think I'm going to grab my Appleton instead, just because I've done one with the Screech, and I kind of want to switch over to Appleton. That's my favorite. Not that Screech is Rosie's favorite. I don't mean to say it, but I mean to say that this is my favorite. And we're going to do 2 ounces here, folks, of your favorite rum of choice.
I do really like Screech.
You do, but would you say that's your favorite rum overall?
I don't know.
You don't know? Because
No,
you got Kraken, you
I like
got
Havana.
Havana Club. I mean, look, if you guys are going out to Cuba anytime soon to Havana, you know, count Rosie and I in, because we're there in a heartbeat. Let me tell you, Cuba is one of Canada's favorite holiday spots. Yeah. Let me tell you.
It's like Florida and then
Florida and Cuba. That's where it is. All right, we've got our 2 ounces of rum. Next up, folks, is your orange liqueur of choice. So you can do triple sec, you can do Grand Marnier, Cointreau, dry Curacao, even blue Curacao would give you a weird look, but it would still taste the same as it's an orange liqueur. And you can go ahead and do about half an ounce of that wonderful, wonderful orange liqueur. I went a little heavy. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. I'm not going to tell you that I did a pour there. I went a little heavy. I just noticed, I was like, that was like almost a full ounce now, Cup. What you doing? Mine's going to taste a little more orange. Alrighty. Coming up behind that orange is our fantastic lime juice. Once again, I'm making sure that these ingredient lists, folks, these grocery lists, all kind of work together. So we're not going out and buying hundreds of dollars of ingredients. I want to make sure that everyone who joins up, you know, if it's their first time, I don't want them going out and getting all of this stuff. So, you know, lime juice was good tonight. We did good with our lime juice purchase.
Great juice.
We're going to do 1 ounce of our lime juice right there, folks. We've got our raspberries involved. Folks, this is a 4-ingredient cocktail. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, pretty much. Simple syrup, raspberry syrup. That's kind of the same thing. Go ahead and close up that cocktail shaker. And when you're ready, give it a good shake, folks. All righty, there we go. That is nice and shook. Ooh, if you look inside, it looks like a red Christmas. I don't know why Christmas is only red, because red and green are kind of the things. But I just feel, I don't know why it feels like Christmas. I just think like I'm having a good time. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some fresh ice for this wonderful rocks glass. I'm gonna grab me some big old square cube ice cubes. And of course, like I said, if you happen to have that fine mesh strainer on hand, go ahead and double strain this. If you don't, not a big worry. You're gonna get a little raspberry pulp, but like it's really, folks, that's okay. A little raspberry pulp didn't hurt anybody. Actually, it probably tastes pretty good. You know, it won't be the smoothest thing in the world. We got maybe a little raspberry pulp in the teeth. But like when you're at home during a pandemic, no less, trust me, a little raspberry pulp is not the worst of our issues. I'm going to go ahead and strain as much as I can out. My strainer is going to get clogged. So I'm just going to move that around with my spoon. Just going to get as much of it out as I can. And what did I save myself? A bar spoon's worth of pulp. Like really, that's all that, you know, if you don't have one of these fancy things, it's not the end of the world. And in terms of a garnish for this, this very attractive looking cocktail, I'm going to go ahead and do a little raspberry pick. Maybe like a couple of raspberries on a toothpick or a cocktail pick. Let me see if I can grab one. Ooh, I got one with a little pineapple on it. The others dropped. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and find 3 beautiful looking raspberries. And folks, when doing garnishes with olives, with raspberries, or whatever have you, you want to do odd numbers. I don't know if I ever told you this, but weirdly enough, bartenders like odd numbers. It's always 1 or 3 olives in a martini, never 2. I don't know why. This is something that I've just learned throughout my time. So if someone says, hey, give me lots of olives with my martini, I give them like 7, not 4. But folks, when you're ready, feel free to turn on those microphones and we'll get into this gorgeously pink cocktail, the Knickerbocker. All right, folks, cheers. Ooh. Now this is a, cheers, Mark. This is a dangerous cocktail, folks. This has got that sweetness that like, I expected. It's got a little bit of a bitter kind of ness from the raspberry because raspberry itself has a bit of a bitter note. But what do you think, folks?
I like it. I had to use frozen raspberries because my grocery store was out of fresh ones.
Oh, how'd that work out?
Okay. I mean, it doesn't look quite as good on the garnish.
That's fair. That's fair. What about you, Renee? How you doing over there?
Doing well. This is another good one, Matt.
All right. Glad to hear. Rosie would like to try the Knickerbocker. I know it's been a hot second since you've given it a try. So, let me know what you think. Right?
Oh, like it just tastes like you bit right into an alcoholic raspberry.
Yum. That's all I want in life is drinks to feel like food, but alcohol. But folks, give yourselves a round of applause. You killed another night of cocktailing here with Single Life today. Let me show you what we've made. We made, of course, the 1899 Knickerbocker. We made that fantastic naval officer, Jen Cox, the Cox Daiquiri, and we made the east side of Chicago's famous cocktail, the East Side. Way to go. You killed it again. Rosie and I love coming to Single Life today to do cocktails with you folks. It does feel like a little second family of ours that we go, hey, like, it's funny because tonight there were a couple other things that popped up and we were like, no, we can't do those things. We have Single Life today. Not only if, yes, it's a job, blah, 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 but also it's less about like, oh, let's move things around. It's like, no. People like Mark, Renee, Jenny, these people are, we want to see you, and not seeing you for the month would be garbage. So thank you for making our pandemic less garbage.